Well, howdy folks. It's been suggested that I add some commentary to some of my videos just to explain what I'm doing and why. So I hope both of you are pleased with this particular effort. I'm just going to show you some soloing with the Fury on Firebase Giant against the Reapers on Gold. No equipment, just the shotgun rail lamp in the gear slot. Using the Piranha today, although I have done this with the Hurricane and didn't really notice much difference. The Piranha is just more satisfying to use, I guess. So I'm going to be playing pretty aggressively, trying to generally get in stuff's face and blow it up with Annihilation Field and throw. I'm also going to try and make use of some of the geometry and teleporting awesomeness that is the Fury. One of the reasons that I chose Firebase Giant is because it's not an ideal map for Fury. It's got a lot of open spaces. Not necessarily the easiest map to close in on enemies, not necessarily the most number of walls to teleport through with great panache. So a little bit more challenging than, say, Firebase Glacier, and also hopefully a little bit more interesting. Spoilers, towards the end it does get considerably more boring. I have to be a lot more careful, and I think on wave 8 I get grabbed by a Banshee after getting stuck on cover, so it's not a good end, but on the plus side I don't die before then, so I think it illustrates that you can be very effective with an aggressive Fury, even on a map like this, even against people who like to elbow you in the face like this guy just did. First thing to point out probably is the Drain evolution from Annihilation Field is really good. It means that if you get a Biotic Explosion on anything that has even a sliver of shields on Gold or above, you will basically refill your shields. It doesn't obviously help with the Shield Gate cooldown, but it does mean that you get a lot of extra survivability if you can position yourself next to something with shields. Something you might see me doing in this video actually is running up to Banshees and detonating them to restore my shields after they've warped me or after I've taken a Ravager hit or whatever. Probably not the safest thing to do, but it's worth noting that I've never been grabbed yet while doing it. For some reason they only like to grab me when I'm not expecting it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm running towards spawns as fast as I can. Yeah, and there you see, I saw the Brute charging towards me and I dodged before it even started to charge. The Fury dodge is slow. Brutes are really weird with it as well, they'll teleport to your position sometimes. So if a Brute's charging, dodge early or you're going to get hit. They can also knock you out of your dodge animation, or your heavy melee animation if you're using that to teleport. And that kind of ruins your day, because then you're stuck with a Brute in your face, and teleport mechanics around Brutes are really weird. You can't seem to teleport through them, and sometimes past them, so yeah, I don't know what that's about. You may notice I'm charging down a lot of guys. That was an accidental dodge. And yeah, they're shooting me and they're sometimes hurting me, but the main trick I use for closing distance with groups of mobs is not to run straight at them. Mobs are kind of like players in this game. If you're running straight towards one, you're really easy to hit. They'll shoot you absolutely no problem. But if you just kind of zigzag a little bit, tap the strafe button side to side as you go, their accuracy on you will be greatly reduced. You'll take a fraction of the damage and you can close considerable distances without getting into any bother. Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed there, I was just slapping Dark Channel on a Brute, so I didn't have to get up close and personal with him. I Dark Channeled him earlier, he was down to about 2 bars, I put another Dark Channel on him as I saw him, and left him to die, basically. Yeah, the other way to close is that, using the heavy melee, which, as you can see, I use to teleport a lot. The risk with heavy melee is that while it does stun anything weak enough that you get into contact with, anything outside that radius will still be able to shoot you, and even with the 50% damage reduction you get from doing the melee, you're basically standing in a pose that says, please shoot me now, please shoot me a lot, for like a second and a half. And the Fury, even with 50% damage reduction, is not terribly durable. So I don't tend to use heavy melee to close except when I'm being dramatic or when I'm in a hurry. I do use it for teleporting a lot, because if you're sprinting forward and you tap spacebar, you're quite likely to go into cover in the wall that you want to teleport through. Whereas if you're sprinting forward and you tap the heavy melee key, which I think is F by default, you will perform an instant heavy melee which teleports you forward and through the wall. Now this is the start of wave 3, so I'm getting into this spawn by the ladder to make sure that it doesn't get occupied. This is my escape route. And I want to make sure that if I do my melee teleport up that ladder, there's nothing nasty waiting for me. So yeah, this is the objective wave, not really much interesting going on. I'm just going to avoid this stuff and climb up the ladder, deliver stuff. Woohoo! Pizza! I think I mentioned that I tried this using the Hurricane as well, and I didn't really notice much of a difference to my actual killing speed, but the Piranha is a lot more interesting to use, I think. A lot more satisfying. Makes this wonderful crunch noise when you fire it. So I'm out in the open here. I run towards that guy and blow him up to stop him from shooting me. See, I can't go left, so I've slapped Dark Channel on the one guy. Shooting the Marauder to try and get him into defensive mode rather than having him shoot at me. It kind of works, but then I get warped from the Banshee. I have to use an Ops pack. Now I'm going to keep this bit of short cover between me and the Warp Ball. And I'm just generally trying to keep cover between me and the bad guys as much as possible. Even though I'm moving through open space, I know where the enemies are, I know where they're shooting me from, I can pretty much avoid them. I should mention that I've only got 4 points in fitness. I'm not using Cyclonic Modulator or Stronghold Package, anything like that. Just vanilla Fury. The only reason that I'm staying alive is because I'm avoiding hits or I am draining people's shields, which I don't think you've seen a lot of just yet. Another thing you'll often see me doing is recasting Annihilation Field before it's actually worn off. When I've experimented with the Fury solo, the main thing that's killed me has been Annihilation Field wearing off with no warning and the graphical effect still being around my character. So I'll run up to a bunch of guys and I'll like, oh, I'm gonna throw you, and they're like, nope, and they don't explode, and I'm like, oh dear, I'm gonna die. And then I die. So yeah, I highly recommend toggling Annihilation Field on a regular basis whenever you're by an ammo crate, whenever you have a free moment. Just try not to do it when, you know, there's a bunch of bad guys about to come around the corner, because that can end badly as well. It's got quite a long cooldown on it. I think my cooldown with the Piranha is on like 170%, so yeah, it's not like I'm getting a particularly long cooldown. Banshees, probably the most effective way to kill them as a Fury is just to slap Dark Channel on them and then forget about them for a while. I think it'll keep doing them damage even when they put up their biotic shield, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously you can't reapply it, you can't detonate when they put their shield up. But if you have the time to wait, then Dark Channel actually does a decent amount of damage. In fact, for soloing I might even go with a duration build rather than a damage build for it, but at the moment I'm using a damage build on Dark Channel. Another important thing with the Fury in terms of staying alive is maintaining situational awareness, and against the Reapers it's quite easy to do that because they have a lot of very prominent sound cues. That's where I'm figuring out the spawns from. Didn't help me against that brute. I get hit by quite a lot of brutes in this run actually. But yeah, and one particular sound cue to watch out for with the Reapers is the sound Marauders make when they're buffing stuff, because that's basically them begging to be charged and exploded in the face. At the risk of being patronizing, presume everybody knows how Annihilation Field works. If it's on and you run up to an enemy, it'll paint them. You see the little tendrils of biotic goodness coming out from your body and enveloping the poor hapless enemy. At that point they can be detonated. It only works once. You do keep causing them damage from the aura, and it does keep pulsing, but you can only detonate them once when you're in range. You need to back out and then get back in range again to detonate them a second time. I'm not too good at that on this particular map. I'm probably a little bit too concerned about staying in any one place for too long, and it takes a little bit of extra concentration and effort to pulse back in and out of range, so I generally just blow up and then use throw spam to crowd control whatever I'm dealing with and add a little bit of extra damage while I kill it with my Piranha. But against like an Atlas with a team, for example, you can be very effective just kind of going in and out of range, and blowing up every time. Particularly good against Ravagers, because you can just circle strafe them and back in and back out, and they blow up very, very satisfying. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that Husks get staggered by Annihilation Field, so you pretty much can't be Husk grabbed with it up unless you back into them or go up and give them a hug very deliberately. Or of course, unless Annihilation Field wears off, which is always fun. Seriously, recast Annihilation Field every time you get a chance, because you do not want it wearing off when you're playing aggressively. So here I'm just taking advantage of the fact that nothing is in my immediate vicinity and using Dark Channel to shoot stuff at range. Obviously not going to do much damage with my Piranha at that kind of range, but I'm mostly just kind of adding whatever damage I can get. Now here I'm trying to have Dark Channel swap between different targets so that I can blow them all up, and one nice thing about Radius Throw with Dark Channel, by the way, is that it's a reliable way to make sure that you detonate something if you're not sure what Dark Channel is jumped to. It's kind of strange. It gives you a little bit of a delay before actually displaying the biotic swirlies around the target when it jumps sometimes. Similar to AF, sometimes AF will apply on a target and you don't actually see the graphic. So normally I use throw before I'm sure what Dark Channel is on, and most of the time it detonates. Sometimes Dark Channel just goes missing and doesn't jump, don't know why. Sometimes it jumps to a target you don't expect. Radius Throw could help with that. But if you get a group of mobs together in a close space and you're not in a position to run up and blow them up with your Annihilation Field, then Dark Channel does a pretty good job of simulating the effect at long range. I think you'll see me do it a little bit here, although I've got a Banshee coming up towards me, so I don't do it too much. Blows one up, moves to the next one, blows one up, moves to the next one. Unfortunately, some stuff won't be killed by a Dark Channel explosion, like a Marauder, so you either leave it ticking or you apply it again and blow it up again. And I'm keeping moving just to avoid being surrounded and overwhelmed. Unfortunately, that really eats into the time it takes me to do this, because even with a 20% movement speed increase that I'm getting from Annihilation Field, I'm spending a lot of time running around the map trying to stay alive, compared to time spent actually killing stuff. And that's simply because I'm soloing. I mean, if you're with a team, then they won't be you won't be taking the fire from everything in the level. You see, I just took a warp in the face. I run and blow this guy up, and I'm keeping this pillar between me and the other guys. Then the explosions stagger them so I can get in their faces again. Dark Channel, kill him with a Piranha, hopefully detonate something, except it's actually moved up to this guy, who doesn't have the effect on him, as you can see. And now I'll be running away again, instead of killing stuff. Just gonna shoot some stuff through the wall. See, I get a kill from it. Dark Channel, run away. This is full-on kiting mode. It's not hugely efficient, but it's the most reliable way to stay alive with a Fury. I mean, you can get in Luff's faces, you can run around Banshees, and be aggressive, and especially if you take some shield buffs and rail lamps for your shotgun, but I am not using any equipment and I'm playing it safe, so yeah. Just pack there because I ran into a warp. And I think I missed with my Dark Channel there, or did I hit the Brute? I hit the Brute. Generally, if I'm at range and I think Dark Channel's ticking on something, I will throw whether I think I'm going to get an explosion or not, just because it is extra DPS. Now here, I'm trying to get my shields up on this Banshee, and she teleports past me through my throw misses. Thankfully, she doesn't grab me, so, yeah, kind of dodged a bullet there. It's great fun meleeing Banshees to death on the Fury, but probably only want to do it when there's only one left, and if you've got a competent team that isn't going to all fall over as soon as you get grabbed. But yes, light melee on a Banshee, hugely recommended, a lot of fun. Another thing about the Fury dodge is you can't dodge a Banshee warp like you would with a normal human dodge. You have to do it in advance and preferably get behind a wall. Because if you do it at the sort of time that you'd normally pull off a dodge on like a human soldier, then the warp will hit you while you're mid-animation, and you'll still be SOL. Then you probably need to run up to her and try and blow up her face so you can strain her barriers. Funny thing, when I first tried this with the Hurricane, one thing that got me killed a couple of times was trying to restore my shields on a Banshee, only to find that Dark Channel had already taken her barriers down. So this time around I've actually stopped Dark Channeling Banshees unless I'm ready to kill them, because they really are a very convenient source of shield restore. The other thing that's worth noting about Reapers is that Cannibals don't get staggered by Annihilation Field. Marauders do when their shields are down, Husks do, but Cannibals for some reason don't, which makes them unlike any other organic humanoid enemy in the game. Possibly except for Phantoms. I don't know if they get staggered, I don't think so. I don't care. They go down pretty easy with Annihilation Field on them. So yeah, Reapers are not possibly the easiest enemy to play the Fury against, but they're also not the hardest. Cerberus are great, because if you have a way to get past Guardian Shields, everything in Cerberus is nice and squishy and detonates wonderfully lovely. Wonderfully lovely. And the basic trooper, the Centurions, the Engineers, Shieldless Guardians, anything that doesn't have a shield up at the time will get staggered by your Annihilation Field, which makes it really easy just to run in and bomb a group of spawns. You'll drain the Centurion's shields to keep you alive. Very nice. Fighting Phantoms is absolutely lovely. They have these delicious barriers that you can just steal from them constantly and keep shooting to get them flipping, and when they're in the flip animation you hit them with a throw and they do not last very long at all. Now here I'm going to try and escape from this hack zone using my escape route, which I kept clear, and I get charged mid-melee by a brute and almost killed. Don't know why they didn't kill me actually. And again, that's the reason that I blocked that spawn at the start of the round. It's just to make sure that my escape route is clear. And also, if you're doing pizza delivery, certain escort missions, and the hack by the LZ, then it's hugely beneficial to make sure that nothing spawns there. So here I'm just drawing the mobs and the Ravagers and brutes and stuff up to the room here, away from my escape route, away from the hack zone. I'll go and teleport through the wall again, get back into my safe spot, and wait for them to get close. And I'll see a Marauder, I think, on the slope, so I Dark Channel him, shoot at him to keep him on the defensive so he's not shooting me, detonate him, and keep spamming throw and bullets until he's dead. You see, I take a lot of damage just from that one Marauder, even though I got him rolling, even though I was shooting him. You are squishy as a Fury. You really have to use cover intelligently, use your staggers intelligently, gunfire, anything that's going to keep enemies on the defensive instead of attacking you. And the whole sort of serpentine running thing, strafing side to side as you go, that's probably the most helpful thing I'd suggest you do as a Fury when you're moving across open spaces. It is remarkably effective in preventing hits, even from Geth Rocket Troopers and Ravager Artillery and stuff like that. Even from Marauders with their amazing accuracy, they will often struggle to land hits when you're running Serpentine. And their Annihilation Field wore off again because I forgot to renew it. So not particularly interesting, I'm just, keeping cover between me and the bad guys. And now I'm going to run off like a hero, find a corner to hump, and shoot them with impunity. Corner humping is the biggest cheese in this game, of course. It's also the most convenient way to kill a bunch of enemies without taking a lot of time to do it. You notice that my avatar's body is behind a wall, but my crosshair isn't, and I can still shoot stuff, use powers, etc. without them able to hit me. It's cheesy, but you know, it's just so good, it works so well. It's particularly helpful against boss enemies. You get a lot of time on target that you wouldn't otherwise get, because they'd be shooting you and getting your shields down. You have to wait for them to recharge. Not particularly interesting way to play the game. So, you know, I don't really have a problem with corner hunting. I try not to do it too much when I'm making videos, but it's efficient and it works. And yeah, you can't really argue with something that works, can you? So wave 7, this is where it really starts to get a little bit boring. I mean, I'm still trying to play aggressively, but I'll be using a lot of wall teleports when they work. For some reason that didn't. To get in and out of situations quickly. One warning about wall teleporting, by the way: mobs will see you before the animation is finished, and if you teleport through a wall that there's a bunch of guys waiting for you on the other side, they will be shooting you or meleeing you or banshee grabbing you before you have even materialized on your screen. So this is another reason why I don't tend to use heavy melee to teleport into groups of mobs too much. You really want the reaction time. Now you see here there's a bunch of shit in this courtyard, and there's a marauder behind a box. Behind the box means nothing can shoot me. I run right into his face, drain his shields, blow him up, shoot him with a shotgun. Very satisfying way to play. That one escapes down the ladder. I suppose he knows what's good for him. I missed with my dark channel. One nice thing about the Fury is that, especially if you take the speed increase, she is a very mobile character. The teleports alone just make her one of the most mobile characters in the game. She doesn't have biotic charge or the insane teleport range on her melee that the Slayer has, but I think she's a bit more robust than the Slayer because she doesn't depend on a cooldown ability to drain shields. She can drain shields with her constant Annihilation Field aura. And you'll notice I'm just ignoring husks. They can just stand next to me and die slowly. That's fine. I'm focusing on the big stuff. Generally, I'm trying to run around killing the mooks, the cannibals, the marauders. They're the easiest to kill, the most satisfying to kill. And you know, with the Fury close quarters combat specialist, you can pretty much just run up to a whole group of them or single mobs and kill them very quickly and effectively and safely. I mean, it's the speed with which you can kill them which helps make them priority targets for you, because you can just blow them up, steal their shields, and run away scot-free. Also, of course, they are very dangerous targets. That fully automatic fire, especially when there's a group of them, can really be a problem. Gets path health and shield gate very quickly indeed. So yeah, I'm generally focusing on the marauders and the cannibals because they're just so easy to rush up to and kill quickly and then run away. Ravagers are really easy when you've got a team because you just have a little bit extra time on target, but as you can see here, I've just stayed there a little bit too long. The Ravagers got a couple of shots at me, Annihilation Field's worn off, Banshee's on my back, she's warping me, Marauders are flanking me. Not a good place to be. So I'll just run away a bit. Nice Marauder, run up to him all zigzag-like, drain the shield, shoot him in the face. Banshee teleports into me, I'm very lucky not to be grabbed. Another nice thing about Annihilation Field is it deals with swarmers before they can kill you. I'm a little bit nervous of them. I'll still not run into a group of them, I'll run past them. But in general, swarmers mean not too much with the Annihilation Field, actually. And this is what I love about the Fury, just you know, running a corner, meeting a Marauder. On any other class it would be a hassle. On the Fury you just throw, explosion, shotgun face, get Marauder. Although you do have to be careful about their amazing elbowing skills. Marauders are very talented elbowers. If they elbow you in the face and they've still got shields, then your Annihilation Field will probably save your life. Fury, funny enough, one of the classes best equipped to survive a Marauder elbow in the face. But still never a pleasant experience, is it? And you'd probably rather have your shield gate intact. And I've got a little bit of space. I just checked the the terrain behind me, so I know that nothing's coming immediately. Still checking behind me, I'm just going to kill this Banshee nice and fast with the Fury. Explosions, Piranha, using the Shredder mod, even though I'm not using a Rail Lamp or an ammo mod. Ignoring the Husk. Making sure I've got something between me and her warp. And now you see I'm starting to get surrounded by bad guys because I just took a bit too long. It doesn't take them long, especially if you're solo. They will make your position in no time. Even Ravagers and Atlases and slow stuff like that will move with surprising speed. So, I mean, this is the huge strength of the Fury, especially when you're alone, when you're soloing, is her mobility. Her ability to run really fast out of danger and teleport through walls, blow up anything that gets in her way. Very powerful. You need good situational awareness to do it, but I mean, she's probably the most survivable adept in the game after the Justicar, and I would say that it's a pretty close tie with her and the Justicar just because she has this amazing Drell-like mobility. Better than the Drell because of her teleports. You know, I might even say that mastering the whole teleport thing is the single most helpful thing to do when you're learning the Fury, because it's just such a good escape ability. It lets you get in and out of danger so quickly. You can save your life so very easily. You can get a whole wall and a long and winding route between you and the bad guys. Very, very good. I think you've noticed a few times in this video I'll teleport through quite a substantial bit of scenery, and there's no way for any enemy except a Banshee to get to me in any kind of hurry. Now, this is getting to this kind of point where I'm going to get grabbed, which will also be the end of this this video, for reasons that might be obvious. This is nice. They're all jumping up into my field, getting blown up and shot, giving me their shields and stuff. And here I do something I should never do: turn my back on a Marauder who starts shooting me. Thankfully, it doesn't kill me. Shieldless Marauders are dangerous because you can't just run up to them and drain their shields to survive. Well, here comes the hug. Stuck on cover, grabbed before I could do anything. GG no re, as they say. But, you know, that's the first time I've gone down in 27 minutes of pretty aggressive play, so I'm not too upset about that. Anyway, look, this is my first commentary attempt, so please do leave criticism, comments, questions, any kind of feedback in the comments. I appreciate that, and thanks for listening. Cheerio.